It's okay?
Cool.
Gonna play with Tanga?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
जय
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय नामाचार्य श्रीनिवास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत श्री हरि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपिका श्याम कुंज राधा कुंज गिरिवर्धन की जय मायापुर मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय अयोध्या धाम की जय जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगा माई यमुना माई की जय भक्ति प्रदर्शन तुलसी महारानी की जय
used to. I'm from the UK, but I preach in Turkey, a Muslim country. Because I'm originally from joined a long time ago, and then joined a program with Christian countries, particularly Muslim countries. Turkey as well. Yeah, Turkey, Istanbul. You from the UK? Which Muslim? If he's new, I don't know him, because the last time I was here was years and years ago. He's new.
I don't know how you can do this display.
Ah, you want to can have a different menu. So before you were using the mic as an input, you need a different input now. So this is the microphone. I'm nothing to do with that. Is there anything here? Because my eyes can't get that.
Oh, it's just it is play fast and then start.
Playing something but no volume. It's playing but no volume.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
difficult. I was thinking, do you have to carry it? No, I mean, if you don't, it's a little thing, but I only did so much. That's all right. Just to mention,
sometimes I want to see, because most of them,
they come and go.
they come and go and give me information. So,
If you say,
some of them is not required.
yeah, I know as well. What I do, if it's anything relevant, I can forward it to them. Do you understand what I'm saying? I've got your number, so if something comes up, they need to know. I can just forward it.
Because otherwise they get to know other things that they want to know. Only the first time you call this unnecessary.
might say, oh, we don't need it anyway. It's so confusing, much.
Shri Harinama Sankirtana Yagya ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Gaura Pramanande.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopish Jana Vallabha Givaradari Gopish Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjanam Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjanam Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari. Yeah, we just had a very nice kirtan, so we don't need to go any further. We can start the class, I think. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Haribol. So tonight we are reading Bhagavad-gita, chapter 12, text 2. So I'm going to read the Sanskrit. And you can repeat. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Vesha Mano Yemam Nityayukta Upashate Shradaya Parayopetas Teme Yukta Tamamataha. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Vesha Mano Yemam Nityayukta Upashate Shadhaya Parayopetas Teme Yukta Tamamataha. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Mayi Aveshya Mano Yemam Nityayukta Upasate Shadhaya Parayopetas Teme Yukta Tamamataha. If someone wants to give it a go. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Vesha Mano Yemam Nityayukta Upashate Shadhaya Parayopetas Teme Yukta Tamamataha. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna read the translation. No, sorry, the the verse here, translation. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect." And the purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In answer to Arjuna's question, Krishna clearly says that he who concentrates upon his personal form and who worships him with faith and devotion is to be considered most perfect in yoga. For one in such Krishna consciousness, there are no material activities, because everything is done for Krishna. A pure devotee is constantly engaged. Sometimes he chants, sometimes he hears or reads books about Krishna, or sometimes he cooks prashadam or goes to the marketplace to purchase something for Krishna, or sometimes he washes the temple or the dishes. Whatever he does not let a single moment pass without devoting his activities to Krishna. Such action is in full samadhi. Om Agyan Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Kakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Prasharine Nirvisheshanu Sunyavadi Prashatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, of course, I'm not anywhere near to be qualified to give a Bhagavad-gita class. There's many things I'm qualified to give a class about, but it's not very interesting here, so I'm not going to do it. And last night, actually, Yumi, she's not here, but she gave a very nice class. You were here, you too? Yeah. So, Yumi is very qualified, not like me. And so we can see that tonight can be like an expansion of last night, because this text is actually very related. It's the continuity of the conversation that Arjuna and Krishna are having. It's the beginning of chapter 12, actually. Just started. Does anyone know how is chapter 12 called? No, without looking. It's devotional service. And because last night she gave a very nice class, so tonight we can see that it's the continuity, because we are used to seeing things in rupture, in division, so it's like today we go to work, work is finished, we go home, we have a meal, whatever. Like we see things in rupture, in division. We don't see that there's always like a continuity. It's like just one life, really. And so it makes a big difference if we realize that that there's no rupture, because it makes a big difference, and because in this way we see teachings everywhere. It's not like how to say. Like for example, last night there was a class. Okay, it's finished. Like what I learned yesterday. Yeah, it was nice, something, but like it was yesterday, and today is a new day. It's different. If we see that there's always a continuity, we can relate like the teachings, like what we've seen yesterday, what we've heard, what we've experienced yesterday, or last month, or last week. if we pay attention to what's going on in the present time, how it can be related to... you hear me? You don't hear? Slow? Ah, okay, sorry. Is it better now? Yeah, thank you for saying. So what was I saying? Yes, so try not see things in rupture and in division. And related to that, there's a methodology that I like to follow usually when I give a class. So as I say leading a class, I'm not saying giving a class. For me, I'm more seeing myself like as a facilitator, Do you know who is giving class actually? Yeah. What I was taught is that there is a being called Sri Guru. Do you know Sri Guru? It rings the bell to someone? Actually, I'm going to give you the mic so you can. So the people online, they can hear what we say, if anyone is watching.
Yeah, so like external, or like it's Paramatma in the heart, it's like guiding.
Is it on the mic?
It's like Paramatma in the heart that's guiding everybody, or like Balaram.
You say Paramatma?
Yeah, it's like the guiding force in everybody that's guiding their lives and their decisions. And
it's the being that represents the guidance of life. And I wasn't told that it's Paramatma. I was told that it's an expansion of Balaram, the brother of Krishna. And so the idea is that he's actually always present in the space. Wherever we are, like he's always here with us. Whether we choose to listen to him, to pay attention to his teachings or not, that's a different story. But he's always here, like showing us the way to Krishna, basically, and sending us messages. And so if we live our life always like as much as we can, remembering this, that in some way or others, it doesn't matter our level. Of course, more advanced devotees, they're going to be very guided in their daily life, they're aware of this, they're always like conscious of that. But even at our level, so to keep in mind that we're never alone and we're always guided by Sri Guru. So that's one thing I like to remind, before I give a class. And keeping that in mind, for those who are interested, I would like you to participate in the class, like to be engaged as much as possible. But if you don't want, it's okay as well. If you listen, actually, it's good. If you have the capability to listen, it's a great quality. I don't have this quality. It's very difficult to listen. We're so distracted, every day. Like, so many things we're thinking of. We are not really living the present moment. And related to that, so to the guidance of Sri Guru, we say that Krishna is everywhere and he controls everything, and everything belongs to him. So, like sometimes when there is a class, like we can think, we want to say something, we want to ask a question or share an observation, but we are kind of blocked, We think, no, it's not the right moment, no, it's out of subject, no, it must not be that, or I'm gonna bother someone or something, But this is the mind trying to block us, actually. Actually, we should share what we have in our head, we should share our thoughts, and it's actually a responsibility, it's a service to share what we have in our head, because everything belongs to Krishna, so even our thoughts belongs to him. So everything. So if we share, and we don't know what we are going to say, if it's relevant or not. It can be irrelevant. I mean, it's always relevant to some degree, you know. But we don't know until we share. There's an analogy that I like to give usually. It's like we're sitting in a circle, and in the middle of the circle, there's a cup. Whatever, you know, a cup. And so from where we are seated, we have a different angle of the cup. So you can see another angle, you know. And to be able to come to the conclusion that in the center there's a cup, we have to share our observations. Otherwise, we're not able to know. I can see only one side of the cup, but you can see the other side, you know. So in this way, in a class like this, to share can help us to find out a specific point that Sri Guru wants to show us in the present. Because there's so many things happening every day, all the time, but we cannot speak about everything and understand everything at once. There's always like one particular teaching that's relevant to the present, and that's a teaching for everybody. So in a class like this, we can try, follow this methodology, and at least give it a try to, you know, maybe find out what is the point of Sri Guru in the present. So if we keep this in mind for the class, you know. So yeah, we can start speaking about the verse. So yeah, I said chapter 12 just started. It's a devotional service. And yeah, so does anyone know anything about devotional service? Me, yes, you know.
The word devotion, I knew what it meant before. It means when you are devoted to someone, you do everything for the person. So a mother, actually in the material world, the mother is really representing devotion. The mother can do anything for the child, right? And so devotion, it means, to really do everything to please the person, to serve.
So that's devotion. So devotional service, from what I understand, I mean, I don't know, you know, I'm discovering as well, is when we are only interested in serving Krishna, to only discover the true heart relation with him, the love relation. I mean, it's a bit like you said, you know, a mother, a child, but in the material world, what I understand, that there is always an expectation behind, you know. Of course, the mother is going to be affectionate with her son. Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda ki, Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Jai Shri Gaurnitai ki Jai. So, but the idea of devotional service is the path of Bhakti Yoga, actually, is to reach a point where we're only interested in the pure heart, loving relation with Krishna, and we don't want anything else. All we want to do is to serve him. That's what I understand. So in this way, chapter 12 is pretty powerful because it speaks about this. And so there's the text too that we just read. So I'm just going to go back to the previous verse that was from last night, because they're related. It's important to know what's happening. I wrote it down somewhere. I'll check here. So the text one was, so Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect? Those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested? And so to that, Krishna responded, what we read today, earlier. Those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect. So, why do you think that being engaged in serving Krishna in a personal way is more perfect than worshipping the impersonal Brahman? Like, what's the difference between the two? Like, someone wants to express.
So, I think when we worship the impersonal form, it's easy to get distracted. It's easy to get confused by like what is God and what is like a false, what is like almost God. I don't know if that makes sense. But like, so if I think about nature, if we experience the divine like through nature, we might worship a tree and think the tree is God, rather than looking at the connecting energy that is in everything.
Yeah, so you say it's confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, yeah. Also, what I understand as well is that it's you can imagine like the impersonal Brahman is like a big white cloud or a big light, you know, and you don't really know who is who, what is what's going on, you know. So it is confusing. But there is also more to that. So I don't know if someone wants to give it a try. Otherwise, I can continue. Yeah. No, it's okay. That's fine. I mean, if you say what you feel like sharing, it's okay.
I think maybe it's why it's more important is the question, to worship the personal or the impersonal.
Yeah, what's more important, Krishna said, is, you know, the personal aspect, but we're trying to see like what's the difference between the two, like try and understand why it's more important, and yeah, what's the difference? Like, what do you think of that?
I think it's easier to build relationship with a personal approach. It's like a reciprocal relationship. It's easier to stay like focused and dedicated. And Yumi said in her class yesterday, she said it gives a sense of like responsibility when you have like a figure or a god or this relationship with them.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a good point here. The key word is relationship, like you said, because ultimately, relationships means it's like a state of being connected to someone. So it means like ultimately an interaction, dynamic movement. There is something happening, and life is dynamic. Krishna is dynamic. The impersonal Brahman, there's no dynamic. It's very like, imagine something really flat. There's not much going on. There's no service in the impersonal Brahman. You know, we are not serving Krishna. You know, it's very relaxing, I guess. You know, I'm assuming. But yeah, there's not this like dynamic, this relation with someone. So yeah, in this way, it's important to know that we speak often about the feeling of merging as well. So it's like being one, just one, you know. So in this sense, we lose our identity as well. In fact, Prabhupada says that there's no merging. It's just a sensation, a feeling of merging. But our identity is eternal. It stays, it never dies. That's what Prabhupada says. But there is actually this deep feeling that we are losing our identity in this space. And also, from what I understand, there's different way to attain this impersonal Brahman. There's like a voluntary way and involuntary. So voluntary is like you spoke last night. The Buddhists, for example, is the reality. They say it. They are looking to empty their mind and like reach like this emptiness, this like space with no service, nothing. And so this is a tricky one, because if you voluntarily want that, Krishna, he fulfills our desires. So he's going to give it to you. And from what I understand, you can stay in this impersonal space pretty much forever. It's pretty scary, actually. It's like you can stay stuck there for an eternity. And another way to reach it is like involuntarily, is like maybe by, for example, even in Krishna consciousness, by being a devotee, there's always this risk to reach this impersonal Brahman. Even if we are aware of it, we want Krishna, but somehow, in our process, like we get distracted, or, a million things can happen. And also it's very hard to distinguish, because it is an attractive space, the space of like, can you imagine like a space of cotton, like very soft and like nice, So it's very attractive, actually. And we can think, if we are not qualified enough, if we are not trained properly, that this is it, This is a Krishna Loka, this space, I'm feeling so good, But in fact, no. It's the impersonal Brahman. So it's a tricky one, the impersonal Brahman. Yeah. Yeah. And actually there's a good analogy that Prabhupada gives to distinguish between Bhagavan. So Bhagavan is the topmost personality of God, Krishna. Then there is Paramatma, is the super soul inside our heart, is inside everyone's heart. And the impersonal Brahman, which is also an aspect of Krishna, interestingly enough, It's still Krishna. So the analogy he gives is, if you look at a mountain from a distance, you see only clouds. So if you stay stuck on this image of the mountain, from your experience, from what you see, you don't go any further. You think this is the reality. You think this is it. This white cloud is the mountain. But if you do more work, if you continue advancing, you pass through the cloud, and then you start to see the tip of the mountain. And you see some colors, maybe some green patch, something from a distance, the tip of a mountain. And so he says, this is the Paramatma. So it's another level of realization of God. It's closer, but it's not there yet. You're not on the mountain. And when you get to the mountain, if you achieve finally the perfection of devotional service, then you reach the mountain, and then you realize actually there's many things going on. There's a village, there's like people, animals, forest, rivers, all kind of things. And what he says, Prabhupada says, this is God, this is Bhagavan Krishna. It's diversity. So again, we are back to this point of relation, dynamic. There's things going on. I don't know if someone has maybe some realization, observation. Yeah. It's the idea also. Whenever you want to say something, put your hand up. It's fine.
Yeah, so I guess like if the ultimate goal of spiritual practice is to gain a sense of joy, a sense of happiness, if the person who is on the impersonal Brahman path is in the soft cushiony cloud space of joy, like if they feel safe and happy there, like I don't know how to word it, like are they not like successful in their adventure? I don't know how to word it, but like
So someone wants to achieve to reach Krishna, yeah, what you're saying? To achieve the perfect, no.
You're trying to say like if someone who is realized through the impersonal path, he can also be happy, like he can also have reach some happiness, right? That's what you want to say.
Yeah.
Can I just?
Go ahead.
I would like to answer to that. I think the difference with bhakti is that that person maybe I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but he's not really sharing much with others around him, isn't it? I don't know, because here we are always, for example, right now we are sharing our realization, our knowledge. We are always sharing with others, and this is the beauty of it, because human beings, they are meant to share. They're meant to experience joy together, you know. So this will be my answer. That's the difference, and that's why it's higher. Let's say, you know. But I don't know if that doesn't make sense to you.
It makes me think, like, what does it mean that we're meant to be sociable? Like, who's to say what we're meant to be, and like, where does that come from? When there's such a variation of like peoples.
Have you seen the movie Into the Wild? Yeah, and that's such a good movie, because in the end we see this man. He goes. You've seen it.
Yeah.
Have you seen it? Yeah, and he goes away. He's alone, and he's like, "Oh, I hate the society, so I leave." You know, he leaves everything, burns his car, and he goes to the forest, and then he eats a plant. It's poisonous, yeah, right? And he's like almost dying, and then he writes on a paper like, "Happiness is real only when shared." And it's so true, because as human beings we feel, you know, you feel so much joy when you're like with others, you know, when you understand each other or something, you know, it's just, this is just natural, like it's in us, you know. So I don't know if the happiness is greater when we share, when we do something for someone. Does it make sense?
That puts into a different perspective. That's like, okay, they might be happy on their own in their bubble, but actually there is a greater happiness that they could experience.
You know, it's good that you give a practical example of our daily life, you know, because sometimes it can be a bit abstract, you know, what is impersonal, Brahman, Bhagavan, service. But in our daily life, in the manifested life, we can see that we are serving. We are serving. Not necessarily Krishna, but we are serving someone. Can be serving an employer, a wife, a husband, a dog. A lot of people serve their dog, you know. And in this way, serving is part of our nature. We have to serve. In a way or another, it's our nature to serve. There's no other things we can do than serving and glorifying as well. From what I understand, is the two things that we are meant to do, serving and glorifying. Glorifying, we see it, you know, when people put so much energy and enthusiasm in going to a football game, you know, to cheer, you know, it's like, it's actually nice to see, you know, these people very happy, you know. I remember a few years ago, France won the Football World Cup, you know, and in the street was complete madness. People were happy, jumping everywhere, you know. So it's our nature, and we like that, or going out in the clubs, parties, stuff. It's just not directed properly to the right goal. We're not directing, because we're not God conscious, we're not directing this natural attraction towards Krishna. We're directing it everywhere else, basically. You know. If that makes sense, if that can answer your question.
I would just ask that. So I've heard that you know, like through meditation, you can access this information from within anyway, to a certain extent. And so people that have maybe come to this realization, and they come to the realization of, so they live their life almost as like a sacred offering, like because they see Krishna everywhere. And so they've come to the point of realization of service, devotional service, but just like it's a way of life for them, they do this through every action. And so how would this then be lesser to like realization of Bhagavan and serving Krishna's like personal form?
I'm not sure I understood the question actually. So, it sounds like what you described. It sounds like Bhagavan realization, no? Serving, glorifying. No?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's realization of Paramatma because it's like God exists in the heart of every living entity, but maybe someone who has come to this realization of this and lives their life as a service in this way with love and devotion, but doesn't follow, like hasn't had the realization of the personal aspect of Krishna and his form, this form. This is still devotional service, like living a life of devotional service, an intention, but it's just not.
So you're talking about the Paramatma realization.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
To be honest, I don't know much about Paramatma. It's true. I can have an idea of what is like the impersonal Brahman, what is Bhagavan realization. But really, Paramatma, to be honest, I have a hard time figure out what it is. You know, from what I understand is one thing I know that's written in the scriptures. It's a type of, to realize Paramatma, it's a type of yoga that you need to practice that was performed in previous ages before Kali Yuga. Like people could meditate for thousands of years, literally, and realize like the super soul inside their heart, you know, like to encounter Paramatma. But then what happens when you encounter Paramatma? I don't know. Maybe someone knows. What's Paramatma, Srinivas?
Paramatma is just like a judge figure.
A judge?
Like a judge figure. It's like a witness. It doesn't say anything. It's just observing. Like two birds on a tree. One is enjoying the fruits, the other is just watching. But as soon as one becomes a devotee, then Paramatma manifests as Krishna. It's no more Paramatma.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, without Krishna's presence, nothing can happen in this world. So to reclaim the jivas back to him, Krishna's with them. He's trying to turn them back to him.
Okay.
He arranges different ways, like he sends his devotees, scriptures are there. Because you have to understand that just like a king is never alone, he's with his ministers, secretaries. So when you talk about Krishna, Krishna is never alone.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a story of this one devotee. But she wasn't a devotee. They had a Bhagavad-gita, Prabhupada's Bhagavad-gita for 40 years in the house. So the girl was struggling. So she read the Bhagavad-gita and then she became a devotee. So in this way, Krishna is always trying to reclaim the fallen people, get them back to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in different ways.
In different way, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Prabhupada says in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Kapila's teachings, this is in the child in the womb. He says, Paramatma will only respond if you have repentance.
If you have what?
Repentance.
Repentance.
If you don't repentance, Paramatma will not respond.
Mm-hmm.
So that's our process in Krishna consciousness. We practice repentance, right? Offering prayers, like that. We're praying for mercy. And then those who don't follow the Krishna's instruction or the Paramatma's guidance within the heart, then they learn the hard way by punishment, isn't it? Nature's laws, you know. natural disturbances, other living entities. This karma comes in, you know. So it's easier to follow the Guru Sadhu Shastra line, which is in line of the spiritual masters, the saints and the scriptures. And then Krishna reveals more and more to you.
Thank you. Does it help? Your answer? Someone wants to say something else? Question, an observation? Yes? No? Yes? No? Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I think we don't really speak so much about Paramatma realization because when you have realized the Paramatma, I think you are so close to the Bhagavan realization. Because actually, like, if you realizing the Paramatma, it means that you realize that all the soul in everybody is part of super soul, which is higher. So you realize that there is a connection between all of us and God. So I'm not sure if I understood your question. You're saying that if somebody has realized Paramatma, then even if he doesn't have the personal conception of God, can he still engage in devotion? That's your question, right? Well, but in which, so how do you imagine this exactly? Because I can imagine maybe, like, for example, he's devoted to the others around him. Is that what you're saying?
Like the intention of everything that you do, if you do it with like God in mind, so you do it with love, as if, you know, with this intention of service, devotional service to God, like every second of every day.
Actually, the devotees do that already. They are doing it. Yeah, it's an interesting question. I mean, I think I would say the answer is yes, it's possible. But Krishna is saying it's higher. It's higher if you're doing it for me, like with me as a person in mind.
I don't know, I didn't hear the question actually, because of the noise.
You mean the question of holy?
She asked another question, no?
No. I rephrased her question.
You rephrased.
So basically, so her question was, if somebody has realized Paramatma, so he's able to serve everybody around him, like he's to do everything in his life with this spirit of devotion, like, but without the conception of God as a person. So can he still be called a devotee? That's the question.
Well, for me, personally, how I see it, Paramatma or not, if you don't have a conception of God, it's something else, you know. It's I don't know. It's for me, a devotee, there has to be some kind of conception of God, you know. And for me, the most important in here is more about personal, impersonal. This was kind of the subject, I think, of this verse actually. And so, I don't know, maybe not to spend, too long on trying to, if we don't understand what is Paramatma or something, maybe back to the point of personal, impersonal, I think it's clear that because we can try and understand, like, what if, and if we don't realize God, then what can we realize, things like that. But to me, the most important is to not waste time, If we are here, if we have the opportunity, to not miss opportunities. If we have opportunities, if we're in Krishna consciousness, we have the possibility to realize Bhagavan, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then we should take every opportunity that come to us in the present and every time, because time is counted, and to have a human life actually is very precious. I mean, we don't know what can happen tomorrow, can be a war, can be a virus, can be so many things. And some people also, I know some devotees, they even think of next life. I mean, I know sometimes in the scripture they said, if you do this, if you do that, next life you will get that, But the reality is we have absolutely no idea. Like Krishna can do whatever he wants, And there's things that we do or we don't know that we are not aware of. So to focus on these little things, or to think about tomorrow, my next life, things like this, for me, in my opinion, it's also going to the teachings of my guru. Like, just see what you can do in the present time, right now, to advance in Krishna consciousness and to realize Krishna, to attain pure devotional service. For me, it's more the way to look at it, what we can do. Because also it is said in the scripture that like let's say, from 0 to 100%, you need to reach 100%, So every percent that you make in your life is never lost. So everything you realize in this life, or whatever, it's here, it's not lost. So yeah, just for me, makes me think of this point of not make the most of our time to reach devotional service. And Prabhupada said actually, talking about time, yeah, it's almost time. Could be going on for long, but longer. Prabhupada says the only thing that devotees should be afraid of is to waste their time. Shouldn't be afraid of anything else. Shouldn't be scared of anything. Krishna is in control, it's fine. Just let's do whatever we can to reach, pure devotional service. Yes. Yes, please. Okay. We have just 2 more minutes because then there's going to be the arti.
So just to, if I understand correctly, are you saying that if when the one has realized Paramatma and then living his life in like devotion and service, are they still called a devotee? Is that what you mean? Where does the devotion come in place in that case? I mean, according to me, that once you realize and have the same consciousness as the Paramatma, as the God, then you are one with the God, one with the Paramatma. Then you're really, devotion or as a devotee is more like an identity. Then you lose all the identity and you're just one with, that higher self, and you're just doing everything through that consciousness and in service. So you then lose all the identities called be devotee or atheist or whatever it is basically. That's what I feel.
Yeah, so the Agora Arati is going to start, so we need to stop. Thank you anyway. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, if we can ask everyone to please stand and come to the front as Gaurati is going to begin. Please stand for Arati. श्री राधा गोकुलानंद भगवान की जय, सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान जी की जय, गौर निताय की जय, निताय गौर प्रमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल. So dear devotees, welcome. Thank you for being here this afternoon. we'll be singing a special prayer which is on my right hand side at the top. So it's very simple language. Please do try to follow as much as you can. And then we'll sing the Hare Krishna dhun. So thank you very much. Jaya Jaya Gaura Chanda Arati Koshoha Shiva Jaya Jaya Gaura Chanda Arati Koshoha Jaya Jaya Gaura Chanda Arati Koshoha Jahana Vitata Vane Jagamana Lobha Jahana Vitata Jagamana Lobha Rakhe Nanitai Jan Name Gadadhara Rakhe Please try to follow. Nikate Advaita Shini Vasa Jatradhara Nikate Advaita Shini Vasa Jatradhara Nikate Advaita Shini Vasa Jatradhara Nikate Advaita Gosi Ache Gaura Chand Ratna Simhasane Gosi Ache Gauranga Gosi Ache Gaura Chand Ratna Simhasane Gosi Ache Gaura Arati Kore Brahma Adi Devagane Arati बाजे बाजे करताला शंखा बाजे घंट बाजे बाजे माधुरा मृदंगा बाजे परमरसाला माधुरा मृदंगा बाजे परमरसाला मधुरा मृदंगा ओहो शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे माधुर 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 बाजे शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे माधुर 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 बाजे शंखा बाजे ओहो माधुर 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 बाजे माधुर 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 बाजे हरि बो हरि बो हरि बोल गौर हरि बो हरि बो निताय गौर हरि बो हरि बो हरि बोल गौर हरि बो हरि बो हरि बो निताय गौर हरि बो हरि बो हरि बोल गौर हरि बो हरि बो बाहु कोटि चंद्र जिने वदन उज्ज्वला बाहु कोटि चंद्र जिने वदन उज्ज्वला बाहु कोटि काला देह माना माला ओरे झलमाला काला देश माना माला ओरे झलमाला श्रीवा सुखा नारदा प्रेम गदा शिवा सुखा नारदा प्रेम गदा रातिक्य शोभा जग जन मान लोभा गौरंगेरा ओ गौरंगेरा रातिक्य शोभा जग जन मान लोभा Gauranitay, jai Gauranitay, oh jaya Gauranitay, 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 jai Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Boliye Nama Saraswati Deve Gauravani Katarine Nirvishesha Shunyavani Paschatya Deshatarine Namaste Saraswati Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, everyone, boliye, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, boliye, boliye, Krishna Krishna, प्रेम से हरे राम, राम राम, हरे कृष्णा, कृष्णा कृष्णा, हरे हरे। Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Bolo! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. You have to sing. Bolo, bolo, bolo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Bolo, bolo, bolo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Bolo, bolo. Only a few minutes to go, please. Loudly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Everyone, one more time. Hold it, please say. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Oh Jaya Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda Radhe. Jaya Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman. Jai Jai Gaurani Sai, Gaurani Sai, Gaurani Sai, Jai Gaurani Sai, Gaurani Sai, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Please can I ask everyone to raise their hands nice and high, looking at the Lord. Repeat after me. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In this age of Kali, to please the Lord is very easy. You simply raise your hands and chant out His names. Yeah. So we do it once again. Hands a bit higher, voices a bit louder. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If I can ask everyone to please bow down. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astottara Shatashi Srimad Shilaesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astottara Shatashi Srimad Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Namacharya Shila Haridas Thakur Ki प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्यामा कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की श्री मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की नीलाचल क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की भक्तिवेदांत मैनर धाम की गंगा जमुना मैया की भक्ति प्रदानी तुलसी महारानी की श्री श्री राधा गोकुलानंद भगवान की सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान जी की गौर निताय की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंद हरि हरि बोल. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ladies and gentlemen, if I can ask you, please take your seats. You're here on a very special day. Today is Ekadashi. Today is a very special day dedicated to Lord Krishna. So please do take your seats. We'll conclude the Aarti by singing a special prayer to Lord Narasimha. Please do take your seats. Shanti. Please take your seats, ladies and gentlemen. Darshan will remain open until 7:30, so you will all get a chance. Please take your seats. We will ask one of our young Gurukul children here to sing Narasimha Pranam.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya.
Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Jai Gaur Premanand Hari Hari Gaur. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you so much for being here this afternoon, participating in the Aarti. As I said, today is a very special day. It is Ekadashi. And today we're celebrating the Ekadashi known as Apara Ekadashi. So if you do have time, until 8:30, we will further have a program here with learning about Ekadashi, why Ekadashi is so special. We will hear the pastime, we will hear the history, we will chant kirtan together, and then from 8:30 to 9:30 again, we have the youth of our manor temple, and we'll do further kirtans. So if you have the luxury of time, please do stay. If you're here, if you can stay for the program, we just ask you to sit on that half of the temple room facing this way. If you please make your move. If you are needing to go, we will be serving prasad next door, so please do have some prasad before you leave. Otherwise, thank you so much for coming, and we hope to see you soon. Narasimhadev Bhagwan ki Jai. Hare Krishna.